Hello and welcome to On the Turf, hosted by three guys who have never been on the turf. Yes, Camille is not here today, just us, the original trio of On the Turf. My name is Arjun Ryan.
I'm Shribam Kanda.
And I'm Ron Patel.
And it feels, we love having Camille on the podcast, but it does feel special to have us three on. Obviously, given the events of Sunday,
Camille
it's like
a morning period.
Yeah,
There's
Camille could not make it this week.
Unfortunately.
And we'll dive into the Bills. Once again, 2 years to the day, we were here talking about probably the greatest game, at least in our lifetimes, Bills-Chiefs. And 2 years later, we were treated to another great divisional game where the Bills lost at the end to the Chiefs in a great thriller. 50 million people.
Wow.
15% of the country was watching that game for all 3 hours, which is pretty crazy. But before that...
I mean... Are we going to start talking off about that game, or what are we doing?
I guess we'll start
Why
there.
don't we kick it off there? Because I just want to take my victory lap. Shri, feel free to take your victory lap, too. Listen, I want to like the Bills. I really want to like the Bills. I like them these last 2 years. I picked them to the Super Bowl these last 2 years. But I know when to stop. I know that, fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me 2 times, shame on me. Fool me 3 times. I'm not going to get fooled the third time.
Shame on the Bills.
Shame on the Bills.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to get fooled again. I've seen this before with the Bills. Really want to root for them, but I saw it throughout the year that this team wasn't capable of stringing together consistent performances. Camille, I understood why he was on the Bills train. He needs to be on the Bills train. This is an astonishingly bad take from you, I will say. Astonishingly bad take.
Hitching my wagon to the Bills?
Yeah. For someone who I'd like to think, Arjun, you know ball. Arjun.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Sometimes, by the way you guys talk about me on the show, you'd think otherwise.
No, but legitimately, Arjun, you know ball. And last year, you showed us you knew ball when you said Patrick Mahomes is going to beat a more talented Philadelphia team.
And I mean, not to toot my own horn here, but I'm getting deja vu right now because I was saying this exact same thing about the Bills last year. I was talking about how Joe Burrow and the Bengals were going to wipe the Bills, and they did, and they made the AFC Championship.
And the thing is, I wanted to believe in the Bills, and I just thought that as a smart man, as a man who knows ball, you would realize that this Chiefs team, that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid were going to lock in come playoff time, and they did. I mean, this Chiefs offense that had looked rough all year looked unstoppable for much of 3 quarters. They scored in, their first 5 drives, I think, 5-6 drives. And this Bills team simply couldn't come up big when they needed to. Key drops. Defense, which had been playing well for much of the year, fell apart. I told you this defense doesn't look as good as it had in previous years, and that Patrick Mahomes would still have their way with him. The run game became non-existent at times for Josh Allen. Josh Allen, to be fair, played a near-perfect game. But it's just this Bills team can't get over the hump until serious changes come, perhaps in the ways of coaching. This Bills team won't be able to get it done. As much as I hate to say it, Patrick Mahomes is him. Patrick Mahomes, currently at least, is the Bills' father, and I don't want to hear differently.
Yeah,
True.
I mean, I love the statistic they were showing at the end. Josh Allen's 3-1 against Mahomes in the regular season, but Mahomes is 3-0 against Josh Allen in the postseason. He, at least in the postseason, he is Allen's father. And as much as Camille responded thoroughly to whatever Rohan was saying, I think we were right in the sense that the Chiefs were going to win. I just personally think that the Chiefs in Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, as ugly as the regular season may have gone at some points, they're going to come back together. They're the most experienced in the postseason. I've never heard of a quarterback who's been in this season as a starter 6 years in a row taking it to the conference championship. I mean, this is insane. This is better than Brady.
Well, Brady did not have this much regular passing success in terms of statistics. It was largely his defense the first 3 Super Bowls.
That's fair.
Yeah, and listen, this may be Mahomes' best defense that he's ever had, but him and Travis Kelce still put on a pretty great show. And as much as I hate to say it, I'd still rather see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl than see the Baltimore Ravens, just because I hate the Ravens so much.
Agreed there.
Yeah,
agreed.
Josh Allen did play a pretty good game, but whenever it mattered most, he couldn't throw it to Diggs, taking that crosser. He had to put it in the end zone, and he did not throw a good ball. So that's on Josh Allen. I don't blame the kicker terrible weather conditions, you can't trust your kicker every single time.
It was a 40-yard field goal. It's a 40-yard.
But still,
but
at the end, listen. That kicker does not deserve to get death threats or whatever, because the Bills had.
Well, yeah.
But I think
the Bills had so many opportunities, right? They were 10 yards out. They could have, I don't know here, but I feel like a lot of other things could have gone their way. I think the run game could have been more efficient. I think the Chiefs did a pretty great job limiting the run. I think compared to what the Steelers were doing, which was pretty much non-existent, I thought the Chiefs were doing phenomenal at limiting the run. I think Josh Allen, whenever we saw him hit a 52-yarder, not hit a 50, rush for 52 yards against the Steelers, you never saw any big plays from Josh Allen in terms of the running aspect. I think if the Chiefs carry this momentum in, and as great as the Ravens defense is, and even if it does come to a shootout, I'd still trust the Chiefs just because I'm very comfortable with Patrick Mahomes and that Travis Kelce connection.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about Chiefs-Ravens in a second, but I will say, last thing on this game, I think, everyone's going to talk about, the Chiefs have figured it out on offense. Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, I figured they would. But I just think this defense is the story here. I mean, this defense had an extraordinary game plan going into this game. Yes, it's Josh Allen, so Josh Allen's going to get his lumps. He's going to get his touchdowns, and he got 2 of them on the ground. He has a spectacular throw to Khalil Shakir, I think, at the beginning of the fourth quarter, end of the third. But they basically limited the big play completely passing-wise. Josh Allen had to go down the field, nickel and dime it, and when the running game wasn't working, I'll agree. Josh Allen probably shouldn't have thrown those 2 deep balls, especially when Diggs was open in the fourth quarter when they had to have it. He went for the deep ball, and they knew Josh Allen would do that. And that game plan, really, what Steve Spagnuolo has done with this defense, really all season long, is pretty incredible. And I just got to say, it's a little bit of a preview before we talk about Chiefs-Ravens in a little bit. But you've got 2 quarterbacks here, and arguably season long, including the playoffs, the 2 best defenses in the league. I think we can agree with that. I mean, the Niners defense has shown to be highly suspect. The Browns defense certainly was. The Chiefs and the Ravens defense consistently performing in the playoffs when it matters. It's going to be a fun matchup.
And I think they have the top 2 quarterbacks right
exactly,
now.
And the top 2 quarterbacks in the league, yeah. But before we get to that, let's talk briefly about the other matchups. Starting off, we'll talk about the Ravens. Obviously, I think all of us saw the Ravens winning this game. We'll talk about CJ Stroud a little bit later, but last thing on this Texans season, I think it's an incredible season. I think that they can walk away with their heads held high. I think Lamar told CJ after the game, you're going to be here soon, and I'm sure he will. I mean, CJ played pretty well given the circumstances. I just think that Ravens defense is out of this world amazing. I mean, God damn it. How do the Ravens keep doing this, man? God. Really annoys me.
No, I mean, I'll back it to, I mean, in the first half, it looked a little concerning that the game was that close. But I think this Ravens team, they just know how to put a game away. They shut out the Texans in the second half. Stroud looked like a rookie finally at points in time, but I don't really blame him. It's an elite defense. Lamar put on a show in the second half. This is a very, very scary team. They're the best team in the league right now. I can say that very confidently. Next week will be a good game, though.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, me and Origin, we've always been biased against Lamar, but Rohan has been on that Lamar train. I'm gonna say from the start, I don't want to. I'm not even gonna try and not give him the credit here. He has been on that Lamar train, and as much as it pains me to say this, he looked pretty incredible in the second half. On the ground, through the air, he has really, really developed as a passer. I feel like we just don't give him the credit, the development that he had as a passer, from the allegations of him being a pure running back to him as the clear MVP frontrunner. The defense has been great, but Lamar has been a really big part of, probably the biggest part of the Ravens' success, and they wouldn't have gotten there if it wasn't for Lamar. So, shout out to Lamar. The Ravens, they got it done. CJ Stroud, I mean, the fact that the Texans were able to flip the script immediately from having the second pick in the draft last year to now going to a wild card, I would take that kind of a season, that kind of a team. The Steelers are always 9-8, fighting for the wild card. At least even if we don't do well this season, I'd rather see us go and make a deep playoff run at least 1 year rather than being mid. But shout out to the Texans, shout out to CJ Stroud, and good luck to the Ravens.
Yes, I agree with that take, Shree. I would rather win in the wild card round than lose.
Enough about the Steelers.
But anyway,
let's move on.
Let's talk about. I think let's move to Chiefs-Ravens since we're talking about these two teams. Baltimore is favored by 3.5 right now. And I'm still fighting in my head who I'm going to pick in this game because, we talked about it just a couple seconds ago. These are the two best quarterbacks in the league, the two best defenses probably left in the league, especially in the playoff field. And you've got questions. I think you've got more questions on the Chiefs side than you do on the Ravens, but the Chiefs have more experience than the Ravens. So you have a lot of things going in flux here. The Ravens are obviously playing at home, and they did last week, and that second half from Lamar, like you said, Tree, was pretty extraordinary. But I'm, Rohan was right. I'm not going to doubt Patrick Mahomes again. I said it last year. I'm not going to doubt him again, and then I doubted him this year.
And then you.
I wasn't really doubting him. I was doubting his team, but it seems that he has this ethereal, out of this world, extraordinary effect on his receivers, where Marquez Valdez-Scantling can suddenly turn into prime TO before our eyes against the Bills, catching, being one of his primary receivers in that game. And I just gotta say, look, this defense is really good. I said already, they have not let an opponent get to over 30 this season. We saw in very limited spurts this Ravens defense be sometimes liable. I mean, I'm not going to say, we saw the Rams drop 31 points on them, mid-season. We saw the Colts, sometimes score on this defense, but those are very limited sample sizes. Both these defenses are really good. I expect it to be a really physical matchup. I'm going to trust Mahomes to get it done. With the last second, this offensive line is playing a lot better. Isaiah Pacheco, these past two games, has been really playing well, running hard as he always does. Hopefully his helmet stays on this time. I'm going to take the Chiefs here. I think Andy Reid's going to come in with a game plan. John Harbaugh used to work for Andy Reid. There's a whole master-apprentice thing, and I expect the master to get the best of them. I'm going to say the Chiefs win in a really fun game. I'll say 24-21.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good game. This is gonna be. I don't hate your pick at all.
Yeah.
This for me is my Super Bowl. I think.
You think whoever wins this is going to win the Super Bowl?
I think whoever wins the Super Bowl, even if the
sure
Niners.
As hell hope not.
Yeah. even if the Niners get past the Lions, then don't get me wrong, the Niners are a good team.
What about the Lions?
The Lions are not beating either of the Ravens or Chiefs.
Oh my God!
Niners have a better chance at it. Even then, I trust both these teams. This is my Super Bowl. Like I've picked the Ravens in my preseason. Okay. Well, first let me say, last year at the end of last year, we posed a question: who's next year's Super Bowl? I said the Ravens from the AFC. Before this season started, we asked the same question. I changed it a little bit. I said the Chiefs. I was concerned about the Ravens not getting it.
So you're right either way, is what you're saying.
So I'm right either way. I think
I'm really not how it works.
I'm really.
You've got to stick to a pick, bro.
I'm visionary.
We've done Super Bowl picks throughout the season.
But I don't know. This Ravens team just feels like a team of destiny for me. This feels like the year.
Call a lot of teams.
This feels like the year that Lamar finally gets over the hump and proves why he's top 3, top 2 quarterback in the league. This Chiefs defense has not seen anyone like Lamar. I don't want to hear Josh Allen. What? I mean, Josh.
Okay.
No. Lamar is singular. My point is Lamar is singular.
That's true.
You never see Lamar until you play Lamar. Don't get me wrong. Josh Allen is good, but if you watch them, I think it's very clear, especially this year, that Lamar is considerably better than Josh Allen. Lamar's ability to run the ball is unprecedented. Yes, Josh Allen is good, but Lamar is shiftier. He's faster. In my opinion, Lamar navigates a pocket better now as a passer. He's able to step up, use his legs to buy more time, and choose to make the throw. It's a combination of elite speed and Mahomes-like pocket presence, where he's stepping up in the pocket, drifting one way or another, and then making that throw downfield, or just choosing to use elite speed and run. We've never seen anything like it before. The Chiefs haven't seen anything like it before. And don't get me wrong, we saw Josh Allen move the ball very well against the Chiefs in the first half. And I think this Ravens offense is better suited to do it. I think the Ravens are going to be the first team to have relative moderate success against this Chiefs defense. I think Patrick Mahomes will have a good game, and I think the biggest thing is that if the Chiefs take away the run game, put the ball in Mahomes' hands, if they can put pressure on him, I think they can have his way. I think if they make this offense one-dimensional, which the Bills didn't do, the Bills let Isaiah Pacheco run all over them, I think they can fluster Mahomes just enough to get the win. I'll say Ravens win 30-24. I think Lamar has a very, very good game, and they go to the Super Bowl.
I think it's interesting for me because I think the path to the Super Bowl for the Chiefs is through the run game. And I'll explain why. Like, going into the season, and like even recently, except for the Texans, like when the Steelers played them, Najee Harris had over 100 yards. When the Dolphins played the Ravens, even though it was 56-19, like Ashane had over 100 yards. CMC, when they played the 49ers, even in a losing game, the 49ers, like they had over 100 yards. Like the Texans, they never had a great running game to begin with, and it's a very pass-heavy offense. It's very focused around CJ Stroud and the receivers. But I think that if the Chiefs let Isaiah Pacheco like do his thing, and they're able to get the blocking, and they're able to use that run game effectively, I think that's the way that they're going to win. From the Ravens side, I think Lamar did an incredible job, against the Texans, spreading the ball around. Like, for some reason, it just seems like the Ravens have so many weapons. And I just never thought this before. Like, in the regular season, I just didn't think the Ravens had so many weapons. But now, like, Lamar just spreading the ball around. I just like Isaiah Likely, Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews isn't even playing. And, like,
Mark
it just seemed...
coming back, too.
And he's coming back against the Chiefs.
He's probably coming back
and
this week.
I think that is a game changer for the Ravens. But at the end of the day, it's Mahomes. Like, Mahomes, like, it's Mahomes. And the only person that's going to stop Mahomes is, like, the worst O-line and a combination of Tom Brady. Like, that's the only thing stopping Mahomes. Like, and unfortunately, those two things aren't there right now. And as much as I'd love to credit the Ravens and credit Lamar, like, it's the Mahomes effect. Like, you saw them against the Bills. They limited the Bills in the second half. Mahomes and Kelsey had, like, incredible chemistry offensively. He used MVS. Rashee Rice is doing amazing. Like, I don't know. I think that we've seen Isaiah Pacheco do it before. We've seen the Ravens give up, a lot of yards, like through the run. I'm gonna take the Chiefs, and I'm gonna take the Chiefs 17-14.
Ooh, absolute barn burner. Let's move to the NFC, talking about these two divisional matchups. Then we'll get into Lions at Niners. First, starting off with the Saturday night game, Packers at Niners. Man.
Oh, boy.
Man, for 3.5 quarters, I was getting really excited for Jordan
boy.
Love.
Oh,
boy, Jim. I was getting really excited. And then he turned to Brett Favre. And it's okay. It's okay. Jordan Love. I love you, bro. You're my new favorite quarterback. Look, the stat line may not say it with his 2 picks, but Jordan Love played an incredible game. Had some great throws. Yeah, the 2 picks sucked. The last one especially was really bad. But Jordan Love's going to be a superstar going forward. I mean, the sheer amount of change he showed just within the season, give him an offseason with these weapons, let him develop more. I mean, the future is really bright for Green Bay.
He looks like Aaron Rodgers, man. Losing to the 49ers.
Oh, my God.
Looks like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
just like him. Just like him.
But, Green Bay, they did it again. I'm sorry, Chicago Bears fans. They did it again. They somehow did it 3 times in a row. And now moving to the Niners. I don't know, guys. I don't know. This is my Super Bowl pick.
Yeah.
This is my Super Bowl pick. I don't know. Debo might be out. He's 50-50 for the NFC Championship. That's a big swing that could cause. And Brock Purdy, man, you make it so hard to love you sometimes. He was good in his last drive, leading them down the field for that 1-yard McCaffrey touchdown run. Before that, he was missing some throws. His hand was too small to grip the ball. It was getting a little wet. He had to wipe it on the towel mid-play. Not a good sign. And look, this Niners team, we'll talk about them in this Lions and Niners matchup, but it's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. I think this line of 7 points, it's a little too much, I think. You can't be too comfortable if you're San Francisco, especially after this game. But what do you guys think takeaways Packers and Niners?
Yeah, I'll be quick because I think we're going to talk more about them soon. But, I mean, I said this before in the last episode. Niners needed to win big here to inspire some confidence. This was a game they needed.
That's what Graham said.
To win big.
Yeah.
And they did not do that. They won the game. It doesn't feel like a win necessarily, especially with losing Debo. I'm concerned for them. Again, I'll talk about this next game later, but I think this proves the point that McCaffrey is more important in this offense than Brock Purdy is. They don't win this game without a player like McCaffrey. Yeah, obviously good luck for the Packers. They'll be back. But Niners, concerning win, and we'll get into why it's concerning when we talk about Lions-Niners.
Yeah, I don't really have anything new to add. I just thought it was a little concerning from Brock Purdy. Christian McCaffrey got the job done. And I think the defense just held up there very last minute. I think they're going to have to do a lot better against the Lions, who I think spread the ball around a little bit better and can have a two-dimensional offense when it comes to it. So, I'm just ready to talk about the 49ers and Lions, honestly.
Yeah, we'll talk about just Lions-Bucks really quickly. Bucks lost.
Oh, yeah.
Rohan, your prediction that the Bucks
upset?
But Baker played well. Baker played well.
Yeah, he did play well.
Yeah, and the Bucks hung around for a good portion of the
I
game.
didn't expect them to hang around.
They hung around for 3+ quarters. Good effort. Can I move on to the next game?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It was a good effort, and quite frankly, I don't know. I think this game, again, it was a win, but I still think that the Lions showed a lot that they can improve on it in this game. Offensively, they played well. But, really, you're giving up 350 passing yards to Baker Mayfield. And my issue with that is that you knew going into the game this is a one-dimensional Bucs offense. You knew it. And you knew your run defense was good, and you held their run game to very limited fashion. But you still let Baker throw 350 yards. And you let him, you gave him a chance at the end of the game. If you give that chance to Brock Purdy and the 49ers, I think they take advantage of it because of how much better this offense is and how much better the weapons are for the 49ers. Offensively, I thought the Lions were fine. Jahmyr Gibbs was very, very good. He showed why he's a stud. But again, do you have this type of success against the 49ers? Again, I said I was concerned for the 49ers, and I'm more concerned for the Super Bowl hopes, but I legitimately think at this point in time, I think the Packers are playing better football than the Lions. I think the Packers are a better team than the Lions. And it showed when the Packers beat the Lions, I think, a few weeks ago. I feel like we go back and forth in this Lions team a lot, where they'll have an outstanding performance, and we think that they're really good. But then they also have some stinkers. They had some really bad games at the end of the year.
But I think
really bad games.
I think this Lions team at this point has shown us who they are. They're an exceptional offense with a defensive line that occasionally clutches up because of Aiden Hutchinson, and a secondary that's highly suspect. I think that's just who they are.
Sure. But I think if we're going really specific, I think this matchup is gonna come down to unstoppable force versus an immovable object. 49ers run offense and Christian McCaffrey against this run defense. I think, like I said, McCaffrey is the engine of this offense. That's what I believe, at least. If McCaffrey can have a good game, I think the Niners win this game. And I think McCaffrey does have a good game. I think he's too good. I think this offensive line is too good. And I think they set the tone. They control the ball. And I think that the Lions, especially playing an away game where they haven't fared too well all year, I don't think they have.
It's nice weather.
It's nice weather, yeah. But it's also a 49ers home game. I think Niners still take this one. It'll be a close game, but I think they win it. We'll say 27-24.
Okay, so I think I'm taking the upset on this.
Damn.
Lions
to the bowl.
I'm taking the Lions to the Super Bowl. Yeah, Lions to the bowl. And I'll explain why. There's a lot of things that I feel like this Lions team has that's very similar to what the Rams had a few years ago. I think this was I feel like it's a very heavy passing attack. Just like Arjun said, a question suspect, secondary, but then a defensive line that comes up in the clutch, which is exactly what Aaron Donald was doing for the Rams, what I think Aiden Hutchinson is going to do for the Lions. I think this team, is very pass heavy. The Rams executed it against the 49ers, and it's literally the same matchup happening all over again. I honestly trust Jared Goff. He is someone who is a very safe quarterback. I don't know how else to put it. There are some times where he has some real stinkers, but for the most part, he's throwing over 300 yards. He's throwing multiple touchdowns, and they're relying on Jared Goff. Jared Goff had 48 pass attempts this past game. And yes, I think the defense, the secondary has some holes in it, and I'm sure the 49ers can poke some holes. But honestly, I think we're asking, or I think Brock Purdy is not capable of elevating himself without Deebo Samuel to really get the job done. I think right now, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, it's two stars. I think this Lions defense, gets the game plan. I honestly can't see Brock Purdy And I think Stephen A. Smith put it best. They cannot win this game without Deebo Samuel against the Lions.
So, score, Shree?
Sorry, can you... Did I cut
score?
out? Oh, score prediction? I'm going to say 27-20 Lions.
Okay. I've been wrestling with this game even more than the other game.
I don't think it's that hard. I really don't think it's that hard.
I see the game differently than you do, though. I don't think it's about McCaffrey versus the Lions. I think this Lions run defense from week 1 to now has shown they're capable. This game comes down to, can the Lions offensive line protect Jared Goff versus Nick Bosa versus Chase Young, give him time to throw? Because when Jared Goff has time to throw, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. When he has time, when he's under pressure, he's pretty bad. Can't lie. But when he has time, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He gets the ball where it is. And that's why I'm going to take the Lions.
Yes, sir.
You're changing your prediction?
I think so, because I'll tell you.
Your Super Bowl team?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why. Because I think this Lions offense, I think Ben Johnson is a football genius. I think, Shree, you compared this team to the Rams team from a couple years ago. I actually think this team is a lot like the Eagles team from last year. It's a fantastic offensive line with a great running game, with a really good play-action game, with a quarterback who can get it done within the structure of the offense, with a highly suspect secondary, and a great defensive line. That's exactly what the Eagles were last year. And, I know Brock Purdy got injured and everything in that NFC Championship last year, but that's frankly the recipe that let the Eagles beat the Niners last year. And it's largely the same team. And this Niners defense, frankly, is a lot worse than it was last year. I think their defensive line, Nick Bosa, has not been getting as much pressure. Chase Young is not nearly what we thought he was going to be when he was drafted all those years ago. Their secondary is good, and their linebackers are exceptional. But this Lions team has way too many weapons. They have Gibbs, Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God, and Sam Laporta.
Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams, too. And Josh Reynolds, who sometimes comes on randomly. So I think this game can get into a shootout. If you're asking me which quarterback and which offense do I trust more, without Deebo Samuel, I trust Jared Goff and the Lions.
I can't believe I'm trusting Brock Purdy more than you guys are.
I like Brock. I just think without Deebo, like Shree said, it's a tough order.
If Deebo plays, you think they win then?
If Deebo plays, it's a coin flip. But if Deebo does not play, I'm taking the Lions.
Score?
I'm going to say
I'm honestly taking the Lions
31-24, Lions win.
What did you say, Shree?
I honestly, even if Deebo's there, I honestly am taking the Lions to this either way, with or without Deebo, I'm taking the Lions.
This Lions defense, I will say, they're bad within the 20s. Once they get to the red zone, they clutch up. We saw that last Sunday. They've been able to get a recipe. But
McCaffrey, I think McCaffrey is such an elite red zone threat because of his dual threat capabilities that he can come out of the flat, he can beat you there, he can you can set up a screen for him. He can run the ball towards the outside, towards the inside, anywhere. I think this game is going to prove why McCaffrey is an MVP candidate, why he should be the MVP, I think, even over Lamar. He showed it last week against Green Bay. I think he shows it again he shows it again this week against what's been a very good run defense. I think he's the engine that gets it done here in the pass, in the run. There is no weapon like this. It's the same thing I said with the Chiefs. They've never seen anyone like Lamar. You're never going to see anyone like McCaffrey until you play McCaffrey. I don't care that you have the number one run defense. I don't care. It doesn't matter because McCaffrey is that good. He's that much of a game changer, and he's that unique. And I think it'll do the Lions in.
So last word on this game before we move to our final segment. I'll ask both you and Shree this. Shree, if this game is a shootout, which team do you like more?
I'm still taking the Lions. I feel like
you like the Lions more in a shootout, right?
I'm taking the Lions. If it's a shootout, I'm taking the Lions.
If it's a shootout, Rohan, which team do you like?
I'm taking the Niners.
You think Brock Purdy in the clutch, Kyle Shanahan, who's until last week was 0-38, went down by more than 7 points in the fourth quarter.
Brock Purdy, he hasn't had many clutch opportunities this year, but against the Packers, he did it. Going way back to that Browns game in which he didn't have many of his weapons.
True.
He led his team down the field and he set up a field goal that they should have won that game. The kicker messed it up, but whatever. I think Brock Purdy can't get it done in the clutch. I know I've talked a lot about him and said that I don't think he's an MVP, but I do think he's a very good quarterback that can get it done.
I agree. Look, this is no just Brock. Don't get it wrong. I still love you, bro. You're not that bad. But I just think, for me, it's a story of how good this Lions offense is and how the narrative on the Niners defense isn't nearly as good as it has been these past couple of years. Before we end off today's episode, we want to bring back a segment that we used to do a lot when it was just us three. Shree, it's your rapid fire questions. We're back. I've understood you've prepared some questions dealing with the playoffs and the divisional round and our head coaches as well. So let's start it off. Go ahead.
Let's be rapid.
All right, guys. Question 1. Who has the better career going forward? CJ Stroud or Jordan Love?
I'll go first. CJ Stroud. Jordan Love and this Packers team, I think, have shown a consistent ability to not get it done in the playoffs. I think it's just the Packers at this point.
One time.
What?
One time.
I don't know, Jim.
How many times has D'Amico Ryan's done it? Once.
I just
One of one.
This is Jordan Love in year 3. This is CJ Stroud in year 1. I think CJ Stroud's a better quarterback, and he'll do more.
Jordan Love. Matt LaFleur is a proven coach, gets this team to the NFC Championship multiple times. I like what he does. He's an offensive coach. CJ Stroud might lose his offense coordinator this year or next year. Matt LaFleur is not going anywhere. Jordan Love's not going anywhere. Give me Jordan Love.
All right. Moving somewhere close to the NFC. Never mind. I'm going to redo this. All right. Moving from the Packers to the Bears. Where's Justin Fields going this year? There's been a lot of speculation about whether the Bears are going to take Caleb Williams or not. If he's not staying in Chicago, which teams are making a grab for Justin?
I think signs point towards the Bears taking Caleb Williams. I don't know where Justin Fields goes. I honestly don't know. I'll say...
Okay, I'm going to go really quickly because I have an answer. I'm going to say the Rams. I think Sean McVay takes a chance on a young quarterback. Stafford might be entering his last couple of years. Could be a cool move to see what McVay can do with a quarterback like Justin Fields' athleticism. Don't think he's going to start next year. I think he goes to a team, that can have some time on the bench, learn from Stafford. Could be a stud going forward.
My answer: Raiders. I think the Raiders are an organization that don't like to start anew. I think they're too late in the draft to pick a truly game-changing quarterback with this year's class. I think they take the shot on Fields. This defense looks ready to compete. I think they want to see if Fields can get it done for them in the playoffs.
Another AFC West team, Broncos, could be one that just came up with.
Yeah.
All
right. Shifting towards the AFC. With Aaron Rodgers hopefully healthy and the New York Jets looking pretty great, who's going to win the AFC East next year?
I'll go first. Dolphins. They're still the best team in. I think they were the best team in this division for much of the year. They would screw them over was injuries, especially on defense. I think they retool. Defense comes back healthy, and I think they're ready to compete again. This Bills team just can't trust him. Aaron Rodgers. I don't think this Jets team has the offensive line unless it changes very drastically. I don't think they have the offensive weapons either. Outside of Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, I think it's a pretty sparse offensive weaponry they have going for them. Aaron Rodgers is too old, coming off an Achilles. Don't trust this team at all. Dolphins win the division. Bills wild card.
The Dolphins are the girl that Rohan refuses to quit here. He needs to stop.
No, they're good.
The Dolphins.
I don't get it. They're good.
The Bills. Okay, I know this question's set up to say that
too.
You're going to make me say the Jets. The Bills are winning this division again. They own the AFC East. The Dolphins sure as hell aren't going to win it. The Jets could have a chance, but I think the Jets are more likely a wild card team next year. Go Aaron Rodgers. Actually, no. Don't go Aaron Rodgers.
Don't say
Sorry, Freudian slip. I don't like him anymore. I'm trying to quit him.
Tell me which addiction is worse.
Bill Belichick leaving the Patriots. Where is he going to go?
There honestly doesn't seem to be many options for him. I thought Cowboys, Eagles could be options. It seems like they're sticking with their head coaches. I saw a report that said the Falcons are losing steam on Bill Belichick. I don't buy it. I think the Falcons really want him. They have, I think, everything ready except a quarterback. But I think Bill's willing to take that risk with the quarterback and see what they get. I think Belichick goes to the Falcons still.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Falcons are the most likely, but I wouldn't throw out... Actually, no, I'm going to stick with the Falcons. I was going to think about the Raiders for a second. They already tried the Patriot coordinator.
I mean, the Raiders already...
Oh, the Raiders, sorry.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks aren't going to do it. Titans already hired their head coach. Yeah, Falcons seems most likely. If he doesn't go to the Falcons, it's going to be really interesting. I'm not really sure what he does.
Yeah.
So if Belichick does go to the Falcons, how far do you think they'll go next year?
They win the division next year.
Wild card team. No, they're winning the division.
Yeah, no. This defense is too good, and I think if they get Belichick, they're also getting at least upper 50th percentile quarterback,
Russell
which is
Wilson,
all they
maybe.
need. Which is all they need.
Maybe Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Maybe Russ. He'd be good enough.
All right. So I asked this question, I think, in our group chat, like at the beginning of the season, and I said if Lamar, what's it gonna take for Lamar to make the Hall of Fame? And if he makes the Super Bowl, this is already one-time MVP. He's probably going to get his second MVP if it isn't for Christian McCaffrey. But I think Lamar's going to get the MVP. So you got a two-time MVP winner. You have a quarterback that's made it to the Super Bowl, who's probably the league's best dual threat quarterback in history. Is he a Hall of Famer if he makes a Super Bowl? And if you say no, if he wins the Super Bowl, is he a Hall of Famer?
Okay, I'll answer this really quickly. If he makes the Super Bowl, unfortunately, yes, he is definitely a Hall of Famer. If he wins the Super Bowl, he might be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think it puts him in a rarefied air with not many quarterbacks can say with that many accolades. But if he wins this game on Sunday, he's a Hall of Famer for sure. He'll make it in. If he wins the Super Bowl, who knows? Could go even more.
I think either way, yes, if he makes the Super Bowl or not, he's definitely going to the Hall of Fame. 2 MVPs, that's enough to get anyone to the Hall of Fame. 2 MVPs. Voters will see that he was in. If he loses, voters will see he was in an era of Patrick Mahomes, who just happened to be the greatest or second greatest quarterback to ever play the game. I think he's easily making Hall of Fame, and he should be. He's the best dual threat quarterback to ever play the game until this point.
Shree, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he's going to make the Hall of Fame. And I think that Justin Fields and Bill Belichick are both going to go to the Falcons next year.
I can't see Belichick wanting to do Fields.
Yeah, that's my issue. I was going to say Fields to the Falcons, but I was like, no, Belichick's going to the Falcons. He's not going to get Fields. He wants a veteran quarterback, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to deal with that experience anyway. Anyway, but thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this episode. We're really excited for our championship games. Season 3 is coming to an end of On the Turf, so we will have our end-of-season content, including awards, some end-of-season rankings, along with our last couple of episodes. We approach Super Bowl 58. My name is Arjun Ryan.
I'm Sri Bamkanda.
And I'm Rob Patel.
And we'll see you next week in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Maybe Ho Jin Choi back
On the Turf.
On the Turf.